Hi guys, Game Dev here. Jane Doe is our new Physical Anomaly S-Rank agent. Not only she is super fun to play, but she is also amazing and especially in a team comp that can support her. In this video, I'm not going to waste your time. I'm gonna go as detailed as possible without making the video too long on everything you need to know. This guide will go over her skill infos, mechanics, Mindscape, combos, drive disc builds, how to reach 400 to 500 anomaly proficiency, best W engine, and at the end of the video, I will share the best team comp that I think for Jane Doe. Without further ado, let's jump into the video. Jane Doe's basic attack, Dancing Blades, unleashes up to 6 attack in front, dealing physical damage. What's good about Jane Doe is that she can dodge 2 times and she has a passion state. When she triggers perfect dodge, defensive assist, or deal damage to the enemy, she will accumulate passion stream. When reach maximum passion stream, Jane enters the passion state. During passion state, Jane's physical anomaly buildup is increased by 25%. And when she exceeds 120 anomaly proficiency, each extra point will increase her attack by 2, up to maximum of 600. Other than that, she has now enhanced basic attacks, and grants her 1 use of Salchow Jump. When you have a red dot in her passion meter, it tells that you have 1 Salchow Jump attack. When available, by holding the attack button, she will perform Salchow Jump. Salchow Jump is a horizontal spin attack of Jane which deals physical damage. You can also gain maximum passion stream and 1 point Salchow Jump by either Jane Doe use her ultimate skill or doing chain attacks, whereas Jane Doe must deal the final blow. Here's a clip whereas I use my ultimate skill to gain 1 point Salchow Jump attack. Another good thing about Passion State is that it doesn't decay. The only way to consume it is by attacking. Passion State can always replenish by continuously dodging the attacks of the enemy. On the other note, Jane cannot gain 1 point Salchow Jump via dodging. Again, in order for Jane to gain Salchow Jump is to reset the passion meter or by doing chain attacks, whereas Jane Doe is the final blow or by doing the ultimate attack. For her special and X special attack, Jane will leap into the air, launch consecutive kicks, dealing massive physical damage. Jane Doe has a very interesting dodge mechanics. She has 2 dodges, and when she enters in passion state, Jane can pass through enemies in front when dodging. For her chain attack and ultimate final curtain, both of these skills are powerful frontal AoE attacks, dealing massive physical damage. In addition to that, both of these skills, upon activation, Jane will directly enter passion state and gains maximum passion stream and gains 1 Salchow Jump attack. Jane Doe's core passive is very unique, as she is the only physical anomaly agent can make assault attribute crits. Her core passive, it only applies to her assault attribute. It has a base crit rate of 31% at level 4, and it has an overall base crit damage of 50%. If level up, it increases the assault attribute base crit rate, and it further increases in every point of Jane's anomaly proficiency. Jane Doe can achieve 100% assault attribute base crit rate at max level, and if she has more than 400 anomaly proficiency. Later, I will share how to attain 400 to 500 anomaly proficiency for Jane Doe. For Jane's additional ability, when there's an anomaly agent or share the same faction in Jane's squad, her physical anomaly buildup will increase by 20%. Furthermore, if the enemy is already suffering from an attribute anomaly, Jane's physical anomaly buildup towards the target is increased by additional 15%. It really makes her the perfect physical assault DPS or even one of the best agents for Disorder Party. For her Mindscape, at M1, she has now 2 Salchow Jump attacks. While at Passion State, Jane's physical anomaly buildup rate increased by an extra 15%. And each point of Jane's anomaly proficiency will increase her damage by 0.1%, up to a maximum of 30%. At M2, this is the power spike of Jane Doe. When an enemy is in nod state, or if any members triggers assault on an enemy in nod state, 15% of the enemy's defense is ignored. Additionally, when assault damage triggers a critical hit, the crit damage of that assault is increased by additional 50% on top of your core passive. In my opinion, this is the stopping point if you want to wheel Jane. The succeeding Mindscape will only increase her damage and a little bit of her assault damage. At M3, it increases her basic attack, dodge, assist, special attack, and chain attack by 2 levels. At M4, all squad members will gain 18% attribute anomaly damage if any squad members trigger the assault or disorder. At M5, same as M3, it increases her basic attacks, dodge, assist, special attack, and chain attack by 2 levels. At M6, this is where Jane Doe's gameplay will change as the passion state will have a 100% uptime whenever any squad members trigger an assault. Her base stat crit rate will increase by 20%, and her crit damage will increase by 40%. Do note that I think that this will only add up to her base stats, not to her assault damage, crit rate, and crit damage. And not only that, when assault triggers a critical hit, Jane deals additional damage to the target, dealing physical damage equal to 1,600% of her Anomaly Proficiency, making her a physical DPS nuker with a high assault crit damage. For her combos, use your double dodge while doing counterattacks to gain Passion Stream and Physical Anomaly build-up. Once obtained Passion State, do the 6 basic attack of Jane Doe, then hold the attack button to execute Salchow Jump. Then press the X special skill, and lastly, use your chain attack or ultimate skill to gain maximum Passion Stream and Salchow Jump, if available. In this way, you can dish out a lot of damage and trigger the assault faster. Before we proceed to drive these builds, most of you guys are not yet subscribed. I really love to play and sharing guides for CZZ. By subbing to my channel and liking this video, it will motivate me a lot to create more gameplays, tips, tricks, and guides for you. Please do subscribe and help me to reach 2K subscribers before December 2024 ends. Thank you and I appreciate it a lot. Now, let's continue. For the drive disc builds, since Jane Doe is not yet available in the live server, I will use my Piper as an example. My Piper has a 396 Anomaly Proficiency. These are the 3 drive disc builds that you can use, but it depends on how will you use Jane Doe. We need to consider that every character has a different base Anomaly Proficiency. For the sake of the video, let's assume that Jane Doe has the same 118 base Anomaly Proficiency as Piper. For drive disc build number 1, this is for main physical DPS Jane Doe. For DPS Jane Doe, use 4 pieces Fanged Metal for the additional physical damage plus 10%, and from the drive passive, additional 35% damage whenever any squad member trigger an assault. Then use 2 pieces Freedom Blues for the additional 30 Anomaly Proficiency. Drive 4, the main stat is Anomaly Proficiency. Drive 5, main stat is Physical Damage. And lastly, Drive 6, the main stat is Attack Percentage. For overall drive disc substat prioritization, number 1 priority is Anomaly Proficiency. Next is Crit Rate. Next is Crit Damage. Next is Attack Percentage. And lastly is Flat Attack. For drive disc build number 2, this is for sub DPS Disorder Jane Doe. For sub DPS Jane Doe, use 2 pieces Fanged Metal for physical damage plus 10%. Then, use 4 pieces Freedom Blues for additional 30 Anomaly Proficiency. And Anomaly Build-Up Rest 20% to the Equiper's attribute. For Drive 4, main stat is Anomaly Proficiency. Drive 5, main stat is Physical Damage. And lastly, Drive 6, main stat is Anomaly Mastery. For overall drive disc substat prioritization, number 1 priority is Anomaly Proficiency. Next is Crit Rate. Next is Crit Damage. Next is Attack Percentage. And lastly is Flat Attack. For drive disc build number 3, this is for support Disorder Jane Doe. For support Jane Doe, use 2 pieces Freedom Blues for 30 Anomaly Proficiency. Then use 4 pieces Swing Jazz for additional 20% energy regen, and when launching chain attack or ultimate, increases all squad members' damage by 15% for 12 seconds. For Drive 4, main stat is Anomaly Proficiency. Drive 5, main stat is Physical Damage. And lastly, Drive 6, main stat is Anomaly Mastery. For overall Drive Disc substat prioritization, number 1 priority is Anomaly Proficiency. Next is Crit Rate. Next is Crit Damage. Next is Attack Percentage. And lastly is Flat Attack. For Jane Doe's best W engine, first spot is her best in slot W engine Sharpened Stinger. It will give her additional 90 Anomaly Proficiency, additional 36% physical damage at max stacks, and Anomaly build-up rate increased by 40%. For the second spot, the Battle Pass W Engine Electro Lip Gloss. It will give her additional 75 Anomaly Proficiency, and the Equiper's attack increases by 10%. And they deal an additional 15% more damage to the target. The third spot is the Whipping Gemini. Whereas whenever a squad member inflicts an attribute anomaly on an enemy, the Equiper gains a buff that increases Anomaly Proficiency by 30, stacking up to 4 times. Lastly, the fourth spot is Rainforest Gourmet. For additional 75 Anomaly Proficiency, and for every 10 energy consumed, the Equiper gains a buff that increases attack by 2.5% for 10 seconds, stacking up to 10 times. If you're going to build Jane Doe as a main DPS, her BIS W engine is a must pull, as it will give her a lot of damage and she can easily achieve the 400 Anomaly Proficiency. Else, you can use the Battle Pass W engine Electro Lip Gloss. This W engine also gives her a decent damage, but without the additional anomaly build-up. Jane Doe can also use the Fusion Compiler. However, you need to use Jane Doe's special or X special skill to proc its passive that will give her 25 Anomaly Proficiency for 8 seconds, stacking up 3 times. As for the Rainforest Gourmet, Jane Doe will benefit to its additional 75 Anomaly Proficiency, and it has a decent 2.5% attack that can stack up to 10 times, considering if Jane Doe always consume her energy. Now, if you're going to build her as a sub DPS or support disorder, there's no need to pull for her BISW engine. Either the Electro Lip Gloss or Whipping Gemini would suffice. However, the Whipping Gemini is also good for a disorder team. If all of the agents in the squad proccing Anomaly attribute, Jane Doe can easily stack up the Anomaly Proficiency from the Whipping Gemini. The downside is that the stacks expire when the target recovers from stun or defeated. That being said, with all of the Drive Disc builds and W engine for 400 Anomaly Proficiency computation, assuming again that Jane Doe has the same 118 base Anomaly Proficiency as Piper. So, 118 plus 18 on Drive Disc 1, plus 27 on Drive 2, plus 18 on Drive 3, plus 92 as main stat at Drive 4, plus 18 on Drive 6, plus 30 for the 2 pieces Freedom Blues passive, plus 90 from her BISW engine, a total of 411 Anomaly Proficiency. Since we already achieved 400 Anomaly Proficiency, how can Jane Doe achieve the 500 Anomaly Proficiency? To achieve the 500 Anomaly Proficiency, we need the max core passive of Seth. Seth is one of the best support of Jane Doe, as Seth can provide additional Anomaly Proficiency buff up to 100 to Jane Doe. In Seth's kit, you need to use his X special attack, Thunder Shield Rush High Voltage. By holding the X special skill button, it will activate the move. It will also accumulate 75% resolve, the bar below Seth's health bar status. In addition to that, you will see a shield icon below the health bar of Seth, meaning you now have the Shield of Firm Resolve buff. Then, once you have the 75% resolve, to buff up Jane Doe, hold the attack button till you unleash the basic attack Lightning Strike Electrified, then switch to Jane Doe, or Assist Follow-Up Public Security Ruling triggers a Quick Assist, or Chain Attack, causing another squad member to enter the field. That squad member gains a Shield of Firm Resolve. Whoever member of the squad that has a Shield of Firm Resolve, their Anomaly Proficiency will increase depends on the core passive level of Seth. Another good thing about the core passive of Seth is that it doesn't restrict any faction or attributes as long as you use the basic attack Lightning Strike Electrified, then switch to your main DPS. Meaning, Seth can buff other factions or attributes. With the 411 assumed Anomaly Proficiency of Jane, plus 100 Anomaly Proficiency max core passive buff of Seth, Jane Doe now have a 511 Anomaly Proficiency, meaning more assault damage to Jane Doe. Now we are at the last part of the guide. I would like to congratulate you for sticking until the last part. I really appreciate it. Team composition. I think this is one of the most important topics that you need to know for Jane Doe, for you to maximize her full potential. For the best team comp for Jane Doe, the meta team is Qingyi as a meta stunner, and her huge stun damage multiplier is very important to all DPS agents. Next is Seth's additional 100 Anomaly Proficiency buff from his max core passive, and equipping him 4 pieces Swing Jazz for the passive buff. It will also contribute a lot to Jane's damage. And lastly, Jane Doe as the main Anomaly Physical DPS, giving her a lot of field time to proc, critical assault, and doing a lot of damage thanks to Qingyi's huge stun damage multiplier. I think this team is a lot of fun to play and will maximize Jane's full potential as the main Anomaly Physical DPS. Next is the Disorder team. It can be Anbi or Qingyi for the stun or daze. Then, Grace and Jane, either of them as the main DPS or the Disorder trigger. Both of them will have a very good synergy to each other. Next is the Pen Ratio team. It can be Anbi or Qingyi for the stun or daze, Rina as the support Pen Ratio buffer, and Jane Doe as the main DPS, as Rina will buff up the Pen Ratio of Jane. This team comp is also viable. Next is the ZhuYuan Team. It can be Qingyi or Anbi for the stun or daze, then Jane Doe as the main support DPS with the 4 pieces Swing Jazz and 2 pieces Fanged Metal, and ZhuYuan as the main DPS. This is where Jane Doe will also shine as an Anomaly Disorder trigger to ZhuYuan. Lastly, the Jane Victoria Housekeeping team, whereas Lycan for the additional 35% stun damage multiplier with the same faction or attribute, Sokaku for the attack buffs, and Jane Doe as the main DPS. This is also a good team comp, whereas Lycan will boost Jane's damage via stun damage multiplier, but Jane cannot use her additional ability, Sore Spot. Now, is Jane Doe F2P Friendly? Yes, in my opinion, the only requirement to reach her full potential is to achieve 390 to 400 Anomaly Proficiency, and it depends to you if you want her to be your main DPS or sub-DPS Disorder. Mindscapes, Qingyi, and Seth is all quality of life to Jane, but not much that needed. In conclusion, Jane Doe is a really fun and interesting agent to play. She is strong, flexible, and her kits are easy to understand and execute. She is the only agent who can trigger critical assault. Her dodge mechanics and passion state mechanics are fun with new animations. And the only main requirement to reach her full potential is to achieve 390 to 400 Anomaly Proficiency. That is easy to achieve with the help of the disc drives and rank AW engine. All you need is lock RNG to substats. Her Mindscapes is all quality of life, and she is also flexible to party with other agents, as she is a physical anomaly agent. She can be your main DPS or sub DPS Disorder. It all depends on how you want to play her. That being said, I hope you guys enjoyed my content. Please do not forget to like the video and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more guide like this. See you on my next video. Take care guys and GG's!